of them are vacation pieces, and I happen to love lighthouses, so these are two that we have seen and I love them, so I took shots of them, and then from the photograph I would paint do the painting. And we were in Colorado for that one, and I happened to see a piece that somebody else had done, and I really like it, so I kind of memorized it in my head and recreated that. But everything that I do, it's something that I want to do. Either someone has asked me to do it as a commission piece or something that I want for myself. A lot of these I took off my walls at home. So I do a lot of commission work. Mostly I do pet portraits. I've kind of fallen into that category because people saw some that I had done for my family, and then word of mouth got out that I do them, and I do love doing them. It's one of my favorite things to paint. I've always loved art, drawing, and as a child I was always doodling things and working with watercolors, trying to develop my own talent, so to speak. But I didn't really get any real training until I went to college and studied art education. And unfortunately, I didn't use that right when I graduated, but I ended up retiring and decided I was going to use it. And that's when I started painting. I use photographs, yes, when I paint. I don't know, I like a lot of detail, like on the dogs. I want to get their eyes, their expressions. That's why I think I love doing them the most, because if I can capture that, the essence of the photograph, then when I present it to the owner, I get tears lots of times because it's dogs that they've lost, and it makes me feel really good to do that. No, I'm thrilled that my sister paints, obviously, but we both have different style. And when we were here setting up the whole event, I went, ooh, we're really different in our style. And I wasn't sure how it would work, but I have to say, I think it looks great. It all kind of meshed and came together, so I'm really happy that we were able to do this. If somebody wanted to contact me, you could call me at my home phone, 937-885-5987. When I started thinking about painting again, I got this idea that I wanted to do a book for each one of my grandchildren. And it had to be personal and something that happened in their little lives, and they had to be done by age 6 so they could read them and take them to school. I accomplished it. It took me about 14 years to do it because obviously they were all different ages, but I now have all the books done and they are here with me. There are 5 books, and I have one that's not published yet, but it will be someday. So I'll be honest, with COVID, it was tough for me to start painting during that time. And so I didn't have many new pieces to show. What I have is up here. And, but I think I'm back in the groove and painting again, so that's a good thing. I paint everything in acrylics. I like it because sometimes it acts like watercolor. And I like that. You can get the transparency just like if you did watercolor.
I do a lot of black and white painting with red accents, and I painted Red Riding Hood several years ago. In fact, I've sold 3 of her already. Do you see this number? I've painted her 4 times. Because people keep wanting to buy Red Riding Hood. This is the last one I painted for my daughter. It's not for sale. This one has been on my wall in my store for a year or 2 now, and I've had people begging to buy it. I refuse to sell it. I just really like the black and white paintings with the red accent. This one is the one I just finished last week. I really love this one because this is downtown Dayton, and I found a postcard. If you see this postcard right here, a colored postcard of historic downtown Dayton, and I converted that into one of my black and white images with the red lady walking into it. So I made a lot of changes to the original postcard, but I'm really happy with what came out. You'll see Reich's is there, and Lowe's, the Biltmore. People that are familiar with downtown Dayton will totally recognize this. I've been painting a lot the last few years. I don't know why. I guess I was trying to fill my studio, my Ambiance, my cafe up with the walls, something on the walls. So I started painting. But I started painting actually probably 50 years ago. I took a painting. I didn't study art like Mary did. I was in business. But I took a class to learn how to mix colors because I kept seeing all these paintings and I didn't know how to do that. So I took a course to learn how to mix colors. And that's when my mother got involved in painting too, because I enjoyed it so much. My mom saw what I was doing and she took the course too. That's how Mom got started in the painting. So but then I stopped because I was in business and, life happens. So I did not paint for many, many years. And I just started painting again, probably since I started my business about 11 years ago. I sell many of my paintings off my walls. I don't even put price tags on them. Customers will be sitting there eating a dinner and they'll go, "Oh, I love that, how much?" And if I'm willing to sell it, I'll put a price on it and they'll walk out with it. I keep brown paper in the store. I wrap it up and ship them on their way. So I do sell a lot of paintings right off my walls, but not because I want to. Mary Lynn and I both struggle sometimes selling our paintings because when we do a painting, we love it. And we don't want to get rid of it. So, I think she feels the same way. I use the same as Mare acrylics. I have one over there with Sharpie, made out of Sharpie, but the name of it is Sharpie, so it was done in Sharpie pen. Normally I do acrylics. I have a little bit of photography here. I'm into digital, and when I first started my business, when I bought my building, I had a dark room. I was into film photography. So I do have some of my film photos here with hand coloring on them, just a few of them. I tried to sell those on my wall, when I first opened, thinking, I'll just sell these, but they weren't very popular. People don't buy things like that. But as soon as I started painting, I couldn't believe how quickly I was able to sell those things. So for 3 years in a row, I participated in the Bridget's Path. It's called Sketch, and it's an exhibition paint where I go and live I paint a painting in front of people. And in fact, one of the paintings here is one of them I did there, but I always practice these paintings before I go to the sketch because I can't paint in front of people unless I'm comfortable doing the item. So the one that's here is number 3, I think. Number 4 is the one that I painted live at the sketch, and it was auctioned off. So I didn't do it this year because they didn't ask me until late into it was just a couple weeks before, and I just didn't have time to prepare because it takes me months to get ready for a show like that because I select the theme, I select what I want to do, I practice and get ready, and so I just didn't have time. The very first sketch that I went to, I painted red live. And then I think that was number 3. I practiced it twice before I went to the show. Number 3 was sold at the show, and number 4 I painted for my daughter for Christmas because she wanted it. I'm constantly trying to get ideas. I go on the internet trying to find photos, images. My daughter challenged me with a rainbow picture. She says, "Mom, you can paint that." So she did challenge me. It's one of my best ones. So I just get ideas all the time, but my brain is always going. So I decide something, I'll start it, and I'll think, "Oh, I don't like that one," so I'll just move to something else. So I have several that I start and then decide to do something else. So, but my mind is always thinking of what I want to paint next. I had a studio on the 2nd floor of my building for a while, and then I moved the studio down to the 1st floor of my building. But right now, I am painting in my office at home. I paint wherever I can find a place. I own Ambiance Wine Bar Café. It's in the Historic District on Main Street, 345 South Main Street. I've been there in business 11 years now, and I cook dinners from scratch. I have beer and wine and make desserts from scratch. I mean, unlike my mother and my sisters, I like to cook. My sister's mother do not like to cook. Mom didn't like to cook. I know. I'm the only one. I'm the only one of the 4 women in my family that like to cook. And I had a dream for 30 years to open a restaurant. I was in IT and business, but I always wanted a restaurant, always wanted it. And when I turned 60, I decided I don't want to die and never do this dream. So I bought the building, and that's where we are now.
You've got to be kidding. Because we're so different in our style and what we like to paint. But I have to say, I think it really looks nice.
And when you first asked us to do this, I was a little intimidated because my sister definitely she has a lot of talent. She took art in school, and she's very, and I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't even know if I had enough paintings to, because she has these huge paintings, and I thought, I've just got these smaller ones, and I didn't even think I'd have enough to, to hang up next to hers. So that's why I've been painting for the last year and a half, trying to get a lot. I've been painting bigger and bigger. I've been painting bigger and bigger paintings, trying to make sure I have enough. So all my bigger ones are the ones I've done in the last year and a half.
And you did very good, very well. I mean, we have fun when we get together.
Yeah.
Oh my.
We were both a little nervous about it, but boy, we had some fun hanging it all up.
Yeah,
it was
it
great.
was fun.
It really
Yeah.
was. My granddaughter was here and she helped. It was a fun day. We were here 6 hours putting this up, and we put a lot of our heart and soul in it.
I think it's in the genes. I really do. Our mother was a very talented person. She just she wasn't able to express it like we did. I mean, she raised 5 children and, didn't have a lot of time to develop something like that. Mm-hmm. But in her, I call her, Grandma Moses. She was Grandma Henry. She did some beautiful paintings in her senior years. Both of us have granddaughters that have gotten awards for their art.
Well, my granddaughter, she's gonna do the cover of her 6th grade album. Her what do you call that?
I don't know what you call it.
The yearbook.
The yearbook.
She's going to do the cover for that. Her art teacher asked her to do the cover. So she's very. I do a lot of classes. I teach children and adults in my studio when I have a studio open, and Gracie May loves to take classes from me. So I've taught her a lot about painting.
I'll be honest again. I look around and go, did we really do that?
That's what I do too.
It's like, I look at him and I think, how did I do that?
Yeah, sometimes when I paint a painting, I'll almost stop in the middle because I hate it, and then I just force myself to keep going. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm finished, I look at it and I go, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
And that's what we were doing the other day when we hung these. We both were looking at our paintings thinking, I can't believe we did this. That's the one painting in this entire place that is the same. We took this from the same photo. It's my granddaughter, and we both painted it. The difference is, and I can tell you this, this is from a Yappy's kitchen. My granddaughter was living in Yap, and she was actually standing in her kitchen there holding her rooster. That is a picture of her in her kitchen. I knew that because I've been there. I've traveled to Yap. When they were living there, I traveled twice there. So I knew that was significant. On the other hand, Mare did not know that. She thought it was busy stuff in the background. She thought it was just, she just wanted to paint Gracie. She did not want anything in the background.
Gracie and the rooster.
Right. Yeah, so we totally took the same photograph and did it completely different, which shows you how different we are.
I did a little artistic privilege on that too, because the rooster in the photograph is the one Patty did. I literally looked up a rainbow rooster.
and she put it in there.
And that's what it looked like. It's the bright colors like rainbow. That's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah, I knew that. All the roosters are skinny, scrawny things, and that was exactly what.
They didn't have the color of the one I looked at.
So that's the painting. Those are the paintings that tie the whole exhibit together. We're so different, but that one painting of my granddaughter brings us together.
Yeah. She saw the room with the girl in it. I saw the girl. So that's the difference. I would say she's a more relaxed painter than I am and uses a lot more color than I do. I guess maybe that's because I'm the older one, more reserved. I don't know. Because if you look at mine, I like colors that you can't tell what color it is. And you'll see that in a lot of my paintings.
Mary Lynn is very meticulous. She paints most of hers from photographs, and she tries to make the painting look like the photograph. I mean, She really puts a lot of detail in there. My hands won't go that. I can't do that. I'm too hyper to be that detailed. Mine are more abstract. I create a shadow with just a piece of a stroke of a paint. So mine are very different. Mine are more abstract, and hers are more precise. Her themes are very different. She does a lot of the animals, dogs, barns,
landscapes.
I do things in like settings that draw you. I like to draw you into the painting. I search out things that draw you in. This is something I did from a photograph I took. This is Cox Arboretum.
Well, that's a photograph.
Yeah, that was from a photograph, and I took a photo. Of course, we both paint a bunch. If we were going to do it again, we would both be painting a bunch of new ones. So
I actually have a couple at home I didn't get finished. So never did I think this would ever happen. She was always the younger, two older sisters
I was the
that
brat.
picked on her.
I was the brat.
Never in my wildest dreams did I think this would happen.
I think she was surprised I had this many paintings.
Yes, I was very surprised and pleased because I think they're good work.